Well, I guess we are live. Wow. I feel a little bit rushed today, and I'll explain to you a little bit later on why I feel rushed. But here we are. I forgot to post on my channel that I had a upcoming live tonight. You guys all know I try to do this every 2 weeks because once a week is probably just way too much for me to do with me working a lot. So yeah, here we are, and hopefully I don't have any major malfunctions. I have my headphones on because I literally just walked in the door and fired up the system, and I had to do kind of an overall check on everything to make sure that it's working like I always do. But I apologize for not having my live posted before tonight as far as being on the channel for an upcoming show. Anyway, enough of that. Every 2 weeks I get on here and talk about car stuff, car shows, car news, whatever. Oh, by the way, do you like my new shirt I got from Brink of Speed? Brink of Speed is one of my favorite Corvette channels on YouTube, and they have their own merchandise. I'm not there yet. I have a couple things, but I don't have t-shirts. But yeah, this is my new shirt. And there goes my mic. Anyway. So, anyway, we have a lot to talk about tonight. First of all, let me tell you that I do not have to be in a hurry tonight because I'm working day shift. I got notified while I was on vacation last week that I would be going to day shift starting Monday, yesterday, September 8th. So I'm working day shift now, which means that if I have a trouble, or if I have a hard time getting back to the house in time to do my live show on Tuesday nights at 7, I have possibly considered changing my time to 8 p.m. And the other reason that I decided to maybe change it to 8 p.m. is because, 7 o'clock Eastern Daylight Savings Time means it's 4 o'clock on the East or on the West Coast because of time zones. So now I'm not saying that that's why people don't tune into my show, and I'm not trying to say that at all, but I am saying that hopefully someday when I get to the point where I have a whole lot more subscribers, I may have some people that live out that way. And I hope I do. And if I do, it would make it easier for them to maybe get off work at 5 o'clock and tune into the live show at Music Man's Garage Shop Talk. So anyway, I don't know if I'm going to go to 8 o'clock yet. My man, that drives me crazy. That camera always freezes up, and I don't know why. See, now it came back. I have literally reached out and tried to figure that out, but I can't figure it out. So when it freezes up, I still have another camera where you can see me. But so anyway, I have a lot of stuff that I wanted to go over with you today. And if you are watching the show, hit me up with a chat. That would be fantastic. Hit a thumbs up My channel's new enough that I have people that tune in once in a while, and they may not be tuning in tonight because I didn't send a notification pre-show. So that's my fault. Just been crazy busy, going all over the place, doing different shows here and there, and my head's spinning. That's what the way it is for all Americans. We run all the time. And you would think the older I get, the more I would maybe slow down, but I haven't really slowed down. As a matter of fact, being a YouTuber has made my life even more busy, which I love it. Like, I'm having fun. But time management is huge because you find yourself running out of time. And when you work 10, 11 hours a day, and there's only 24 in a day, you kind of have to figure out bits and pieces here and there where you can, find time to do things. So I wanted to basically, like I always do on this show, is I have some things at the end of the show I want to talk about, news about vehicles coming up, and some exciting new news in the Corvette world. But for right now, I want to go over, some of the stuff that I've done in the last few weeks. And kind of touch on that stuff and then discuss what's coming up. Excuse me. So, I have it written on my iPad here. I'll show you. My iPad. I have to have an iPad because I'm old, and if I don't write it down, I'll forget. So, hey, where are you tuning in from? Let me know in the comments. You can, even if you don't do it on the live show, you still make a comment after the video post to my channel. Let me know where you're watching from and what car you have. That would be fantastic. Every single car show that I go to, I keep meeting more and more people, which is awesome. And having talks with them and telling them about, my love for cars, and then also telling them that I like to do stuff on YouTube, and they get excited, I get excited, and I've met quite a few really cool people in the last couple weeks. I won't say any names on here just yet, but that's it. That's one of the cool things about car shows. If people like to talk about their cars, and if you are shy, you just kind of sit in the back of your car and you don't engage. But for me, I have a hard time sitting behind my car and not talking to people. So I'm a people person. I love talking to people about my car. They say, hey, what mods did you get done? I love talking about that. So anyway, let's talk about, so the last show that I did was 2 weeks ago. That would have been, according to my calendar, that would have been August the 26th. And on that Friday, August the 29th, was the start of my vacation. I got vacation number 3 in the books. And I just wanted to go over some really cool stuff that I was able to do while I was on vacation. So Friday, August the 29th, I went out to Warsaw to do my normal recording of Lakeside Chevrolet. If you watch my channel, you'll know that I've done that every single month at the beginning of the month. And I started that in May, and that is something that a lot of my subscribers love to watch. They like to see what's on the floor for sale. So anyway, I went out there, And I also have a couple of other Corvette places that I like to go to and check out to see what they have in inventory. And I stopped in Columbia City at City Auto Mall, and I was talking to my friend Jeff out there, and he told me that he already had some 26s coming in. And I explained to him that if I ordered a 26, it would be a Roswell green car because I think that color is amazing. I love it, and I love everything about it. And I've seen it. I got to see that car in Bowling Green when I was at the Corvette Museum. They had one sitting on the front porch. Now, it was in the shade, so I didn't get to see what it looks like under the sun, but I've heard from other people that it is absolutely incredible in the sun. So I went out to Warsaw. I did my filming for Lakeside Chevrolet, and then on the way back through Columbia City, I stopped at City Auto Mall because they told me that the green Roswell green Corvette showed up on their floor, and they wanted me to come in and see it, and I wanted to go see it. I'm trying to find a picture of it real quick if I can. I think I found it. Yes, I did. I may be putting together a video with it in a minute. In the next few days. I don't know if I will or not. But two things. I hadn't seen the Roswell Green come into City Auto Mall. They invited me to stop and look at it. And the other thing is I haven't seen the inside of a brand new 26, and I really wanted to see the new layout with the 3 screens across the front. I wanted to experience that for myself. So I stopped in there to see this car, and here it is on my screen. I'm going to show it to you real quick. There it is. It's Roswell green. See if I got... For some reason, that got that a little bit high. Hopefully that's a little bit better. So Roswell green is amazing. Like, the color of this car is phenomenal. Even under the lights in the garage, it's amazing. I went in and I was able to see the interior, which was also very cool. So I wanted to just show you that. Basically, that's how I got to start off my vacation, which that's a pretty good start to the vacation, right? I saw a brand new 2026 C8 Corvette in Roswell green, and trust me, they worked really hard to try to sell me that car. And I really, 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 really wanted that car. The problem is they had put some other things on the car that I didn't really care for. And I have made up my mind that I'm probably going to wait a couple years before I get a C8 Corvette, or before I get a Corvette, period, because I don't know if I'll start with a C8. I may start with the C6 or a C5, because there are quite a few of those out there that are awesome. And I might work my way up, but basically my plan is to, maybe when I get to retirement age in however many years that is, I hope to have a C8 Corvette by the time I get to that. And if they decide to make the C9 between now and then, rumor has it they're going to probably make that in 29. I don't have proof of that yet, but everybody else that I've seen talking about it, they basically said they thought they were going to start making those possibly in 29. So if that happens, I'll get a new one in 28 right before they do that. Before they discontinue the C8. That's my plan. So anyway, on Saturday here in Fort Wayne, I went to Cars and Coffee, and basically, it's kind of cool to be able to go to your local Cars and Coffee. I don't know why I keep getting crooked for my microphone. Hopefully that doesn't affect my audio. But anyway, my local Cars and Coffee is always a lot of fun because I get to connect with people that I live by, and I get to see them on a regular basis if I'm not running out of town somewhere. So I have a couple photographs I was going to share with you, and I'll go ahead and throw this up real quick. I met a young man and his wife, and they have this beautiful C7 Z06. And it's silver. I think it's blade silver. I'm not sure. But he was parked way across the parking lot, and I ran into him. And we basically clicked right off the bat, because one of the reasons is because he's getting ready to take his C8 Corvette, or C7, into the guy that did the build on my car, which is Bumper Wilson Tuning. So that was pretty cool that I got to meet him and his wife. We connected right away. He then moved his car over beside mine, which is pretty neat. So I have a couple photographs of that. And, again, his car is amazing. And I wanted to show you that. Of course, that's my car. So, I have to show my car a little bit once in a while, right? So anyway, there's a first-gen Camaro there that I know the guy that owns this car. His car is also amazing. And then this is just a random C8 that I saw at a dealership. Beautiful car. Anyway, so I did that on Saturday. And then on Monday, the place that has the Cars and Coffee on every Saturday all year long is Big B Coffee here in Fort Wayne, and they have multiple locations. And so what they do is on a holiday, if it's a holiday weekend, then basically what they do is they have another Cars and Coffee on that Monday, like Memorial Day, Labor Day, 4th of July. They call it the holiday series. And so we end up literally having 2 Cars and Coffee on the same weekend, which is really cool. And usually there's a huge turnout for that. Now, I have a video of that I put together because it is the holiday show, holiday Cars and Coffee. So I went ahead and made a video of that, and I posted it on the channel. If you're interested in taking a look at that, that's a pretty good video, I think. And so then, of course, I did that on Monday, and then on Tuesday, I had the opportunity to take my car back out to my builder, Bumper Wilson Tuning, and he put my car on the dyno again. And the reason that he put my car back on the dyno is because I had E85 in it, and we wanted to get some numbers on what it was producing at the back wheel. So that's exactly what we did. I got to do that on Tuesday. Again, how cool is it to be able to do something like this on your vacation? And I'm not going to play that because that's literally just 26 seconds of noise. And I didn't figure that you really wanted to see that. But this is the chart that shows my numbers. If you haven't seen my video on 93 octane gasoline, I had 520 to the back wheel. And on E85, 541 horsepower to the back wheel. and 485 foot-pound of torque. That's pretty good. I like it. So there you go. I saved you from having to go watch the video. But you can still go watch it if you want. And then he sent me this chart, and this chart shows the difference between, I believe the dotted line is 93 octane, and the solid line is the E85. So it shows a little bit higher, obviously. It meets in the middle. They cross paths right there. And if you look at it down here, it says 540.6, 485 foot-pound of torque. I'm pretty happy with that. So, we increased, almost 10 foot-pounds in torque and 11 horsepower, 21 horse. Let's see. 520 to 540 is 21. So that was pretty cool. I've been driving my car quite a bit this year on E85 because you can tell a difference. I can definitely tell a difference. And so, yeah, I wanted to share that with you real quick. And then I'm going to move into the next thing that happened to me, which is extremely cool, like unbelievably cool. I don't have any photographs at this point that I want to share with you on the live, just because all of my footage of that day was, I did that on my camera that I use for YouTube. But I met a guy about 2 years ago, actually, that lives in my neighborhood. And I simply was driving by his house, and I saw that he had a couple Corvettes in the driveway, and I was in my Camaro, and I pulled in and stopped. I started talking to him, and we became friends. And long story short, this guy works for a local a guy that lives here locally that's doing very well, and he has a large collection of Corvettes and foreign exotics. Like, it's crazy. Anyway, my friend Sean is actually one of the guys that works there. Him and Steve, they both work there, and they take care of this guy's collection of cars. So whenever they get a car, it comes in, they look it over, they find out right away what needs fixed, what needs changed. And you know what they did? They let me come out and see this place. They took me there. I want to say they took me there blindfolded, but they didn't, because I followed them there in my car. Anyway, the owner, and I won't say a name or whatever for his privacy. The owner came out to the barn, to the garage, and my friend Steve is like, dude, if you want to do a video on it, I want you to ask him, because I don't want to be the one to ask him. I was like, okay, no problem. So he came out. We chatted for a little bit because we had to go pick up a couple cars. And when I got there, they asked me if I would drive one of the cars. And guess what? I got to drive a 1957 Ford Thunderbird. Are you kidding me right now? Wow. I don't know when I'd ever have the opportunity to do that. And I was really excited. So I asked the gentleman, it's great to meet you. I have a YouTube channel. Would it be okay if I filmed your collection and put it on my YouTube channel? And he said, absolutely. And so you guys, I'm telling you what, if you haven't seen that video, you need to go check it out. I think it's called One Man and 32 Cars. Now, I can't tell you that there are 32 cars in the video, because I honestly don't remember how many cars are in the video, but he has a place in Florida, and he has several cars there. So There might be 28 in the video that I filmed, and then the other 4 are in Florida. I'm not sure. I didn't even really think about counting them like that. But I tell you what, guys, like, I can't even think of a better way to spend my vacation than spending the day with these 2 guys, Sean and Steve. It was fantastic. It was one of the greatest experiences I've ever had for me personally. Yeah, I basically stood there in awe of the cars, like a Lamborghini Huracan, a 24 E-Ray, a 24, or I think the E-Ray is a 25, a 24 Z06, like a ZR1, C7 ZR1, red, Lingenfelder. Like, are you kidding me? And then tons of other first gen and second gen Corvettes. I guess we're calling them C1s and C2s. I kind of I cross-hatch that because I'm a Camaro guy, so I say gen, but really it's in the Corvette world, it's C1, C2, C7, C8, whatever. So if you haven't seen that video, you need to for sure check it out because it's pretty amazing. Like, it's a little bit longer video than what I normally put on my channel, because when I do an interview with someone, it's usually on their car. But at this point, there were so many cars, and we actually drove the cars back from the Auburn auction, worldwide auction, that happened, a few weeks prior. We went up there to pick them up and bring them back to the guy's shop. So an experience that I'll never forget. It was amazing. Make sure you go check it out. And if you do, hit that thumbs up button, because YouTube likes it when you watch something and you hit thumbs up. So anyway, I did that on Wednesday, which was absolutely one of the neatest things I've ever done. So I won't go on and on anymore about that. I'll stop talking about it, but make sure you check out the video because it's pretty amazing. So then moving along, I took Thursday off. I didn't do anything on Thursday, which was okay. And I guess I did do some stuff on Thursday. I got some exercise. That was pretty cool. I went out on the trail with my new e-bike. By the way, I love my electric 4.0. It's pretty cool. I don't know if you guys are into e-bikes or not, but I went out on the trail and did that on Thursday just to kind of take a break from everything, and because I knew that the next day was gonna be game on. So Friday, Saturday, and I left Sunday to come back home. I went to this is Friday, September 9th, September 5th, I'm sorry. And since I've always tried to be like real and upfront and just basically tell you, talk about stuff that happens, like, I'm going to be transparent and I'm going to tell you that Friday was not a good day for me. I got really, really upset numerous times and just didn't really understand some of the disrespect from grown-ups. And let me elaborate. So I went back to Akron, Ohio for the Fall Classic that the Northeastern Ohio Camaro Club puts on. I'm a member of that club. And I went back to Akron, Ohio. And on my way back to Akron, Ohio, again, if you didn't know this, I used to live in the Akron and Canton area. Now, we're talking about 40 years ago, I lived there. And I worked at a motorcycle store over in Massillon, Ohio. I'm not going to say the name of the store, but it's a very large motorcycle store. And so while I was driving over there, the store is owned by an older gentleman, and he has a younger a son. And when I worked there, it was 38 years ago that I worked at this motorcycle store. And my job when I started there was to sweep and mop the tile around the showroom, vacuum the floor around all the motorcycles. And then eventually I got a promotion, and they asked me to start building motorcycles out of the crate. So when a motorcycle comes in, it comes in with the front wheel and the handlebars off, and it's bolted to a skid, and you have to prop up the forks, put the wheel on, right? And then the handlebars, and then put gas and oil in it. Now, this is 40 years ago. We're talking 87, 88 in that time frame, right? So I thought, how cool would it be? I don't even know if these guys are still around, but I'm stopping in there, and I'll stop in there, and I'll fire up my camera, and I'll do a little video about, hey, this is where I used to work, and these are the people that I used to work with, right? So I walk in, and I ask for Tom. Tom's the son, because at this point, I just kind of assumed that the owner, the older gentleman, had already passed away, just because it had been 40 years ago, and it seemed like the guy was, fairly old then. So I walk in, and I ask for Tom, and I run into Tom. I see him, and I'm like, hey, dude, do you care if I do a short interview with you? Absolutely not. I'm busy. I don't have time. Get out of here. Are you serious? What? I said, seriously, Tom. I was like, I just was wanting to talk to you real briefly. I used to work here, 38 years ago, and I just wanted to talk to you real quick. He's like, don't take my picture. I ain't got time. Get out. Like, oh, okay. Well, guess what? I remembered that's why I don't work for that guy no more. And I left there basically defeated. You think YouTube is easy? YouTube is not always easy, right? Now, I didn't tell him I was doing YouTube. I just thought it would be cool to do this because that's what I do. I document cool stuff. Well, I got it all on tape, and I haven't decided yet if I'm going to make a video out of it or not, but I probably won't, but I just wanted to tell you about it. So, I'm on vacation, and this is how my Friday started. And I say started because that's how it started. It got worse. And just bear with me if you will for a minute, because my life isn't perfect like everyone else, wants you to think your life's perfect. Mine isn't perfect. I have bad days just like everybody else. So moving forward, I have one of the guys that I worked with at the motorcycle store is an amazing drummer. His name is Joel. And this guy has been like a big brother to me. He helped me through some bad times. I actually got divorced, and he helped me get through that. And I've gone back a couple of times and seen his band. His band is amazing. That band was supposed to be playing Friday night. So I go to Akron. I check into the hotel. I set a cone out there in a spot that I decided I wanted to save for myself, because that's what you do, I guess. That's what everybody does. So I'm like, okay, that's what you do. That's what I'm going to do. I go out to dinner with a couple of friends, and then we go back down to Canton to go through this dealership that had a bunch of exotics in it. Porsches, Corvettes, Land Rover, Road Ranger, whatever. A lot of expensive cars. We went down there and hung out with the club, had a great time. Met some new people. That was a pretty good time talking to some new people. I met a guy by the name of Sean. And so I had a pretty good time there, and I thought, well, this is over at 6, and my buddy's band starts at 8. So I'm going to just hang out. So what I did is I went and washed my car because my car got dirty driving over there, 3.5 hours. So I went and washed my car, and I kind of waited around, and I waited. And then at 7 o'clock, I'm like, okay, I'm going to go there. It don't start till 8, but I'm going to go ahead and go on in at 7 because I can get there early and hang out while my friend's setting up his drums and talk to him and maybe grab some, bar French fries or something and a cold drink and enjoy some real good live rock and roll music. Because, like I said, my friend is an amazing drummer. So I get to the bar, I walk in, and they're not there. The stage is completely empty. Like, I can't believe it. Like, I asked one of the waitresses, I'm like, what's going on? I thought you had a band tonight. And she said, we do, but the band canceled on us because their lead singer got sick. Like, what? No way. So I'm like, okay, with my tail between my legs, now that's 2 things in one day. I'm like, I don't know. This is crazy. I'm supposed to be on vacation. Everything's supposed to be perfect, right? Nope. I get back to the hotel because that's where everybody was. Well, most everybody. There was a few that went out to the president's house and hung out, which is cool. I mean, I had plans to go watch my buddy's band. Anyway, I get back to the hotel. Somebody moved my cone. Really? They had the audacity to take my cone and move it. Like, I've never heard of that. Like, well, I didn't ever hear about people doing that until it actually happened to me. But somebody moved my cone, parked their car there, and then I didn't know where my cone was. Is it that big a deal? Not really. Did I see the guy that had the car in the spot that I had reserved at 2:00 that afternoon? Yes. Did I come over and get in his face and say, dude, I think that was pretty raw what you did? I came about that close to doing that. But I'm like, what good is that going to do? That's just going to create tension. That's going to create frustration. I'm already frustrated enough. I'm not going to do it. So I let it go. But I have to tell you, I'm really disappointed in that one person. And I don't know his name. I don't care about his name. And it's not about trying to bust anybody out. I'm just telling you that everything isn't always cool. When you go to these big car shows, everything doesn't work out perfect. But again, I hope I don't lose you during this conversation because we do have some really cool stuff to talk about. So I wanted to go through that and just tell you that I was actually looking forward to going to bed that night because the friends that I was around, and I told them what happened, and they're like, dude, oh, well, it's not that big a deal. And I'm like, yeah, but it was disrespectful. And I just had to kind of take a deep breath and move on and try to forget about it. It still kind of irritates me when I think about it because I would never do that to someone else. And I can't believe somebody did it to me, but they did. So it is what it is, I guess. I went to bed really early because I was frustrated and I was done with all that. And I'm like, hopefully Saturday is a better day because Saturday is the day that that's the day that the real fun happens, right? Well, this is Saturday. I wake up, it's raining. Oh, well, I drove my car over there anyway in the rain. It rained until about maybe 9 o'clock, and then it stopped raining, and it turned out to be a beautiful day. And it was the Fall Classic, Northeastern Ohio Camaro Club Fall Classic. again, one of the greatest shows I think that happens all year for me anyway. And it's only 3.5 hours away, which is pretty cool. So Friday was rough, but Saturday ended up being a good day, you know. So this is my car set up at the show. And, this is my car. And I wanted to point this out to you. I made these. This is basically a little plate that's got the club emblem on it. It says Northeastern Ohio Camaro Club. And I decided that I wanted to make some of these and make them available to the club. And I actually sold a couple of them that weekend. And that's pretty cool. So, that's just a side note. Again, I'm not wanting or planning on, wanting to get rich off of making some plates. But I have one right. This is basically what it looks like. I had a local company make some. It's basically I bought a plate of aluminum, and I bought it. They cut it. I guess I'm too close to the camera. And then I bought some of these stickers. They say Northeastern Ohio Camaro Club, and then they just stick right on there like that. And then you just lay it in front of your car on the ground like this, like I said. So you can lay it right here on the ground in front of your car. So people that walk by, if you're at a car show and you see like 300 cars, if you got one of these plaques, you could put it on there to show that you're a member of the NEOCC, which I thought was pretty cool. So anyway, that's my car. This is my friend Sheila's car she's from West Virginia. And this green car back here is blue one is Sheila. The green one back here is the president's wife, Jessica. And her car is amazing. I'm always teasing her about letting me have it, and she won't let me have it. So these are just some photographs from the car show. This reminded me of my first Camaro, which is basically an LT1. This particular car has an RS package on it. Mine did not, but it's a convertible. This is a 1987 IROC Z, 16,000 miles. Incredible car, one of my favorites. And then a rare car that you don't hardly ever see in the dark green. I think it's emerald green, but I'm not 100% sure. And then, of course, a couple of my friends, they have cars on the turntable inside the Summit Racing. So, yeah, mute that. They're on the turntable, which is pretty cool. This car's name is Casper. Really neat story behind that car. Someday I hope to have a video of this car on my channel, but not right now. And this is another friend of mine. He's got this car. It's basically a double copo. It's beautiful, black with orange stripe down the hood. And I believe it's a SSRS. Hopefully I don't get anything wrong when I talk about his car, because he will not be happy. Anyway, so I snapped this shot of a guy really looking into my car. That was pretty cool. And then this is me getting ready to go back to Fort Wayne the next morning. I had to put some E85 back in the tank. I think Sheets needs to come to Fort Wayne, because we don't have enough gas stations around here that sell a E85. And I don't know about you, but there's something about a photograph underneath the neon lights or the LED lights at a gas station. They're just epic. This is a friend of mine. His name is TJ. He was the guest of honor with the Northeastern Ohio Camaro Club at the show. He actually came up from Muncie, Indiana, and hung out with us. He's an honorary member of the club. He loves Camaros. And he came up, and while he was there, the president of the club asked him to pick out his favorite car, and that he was going to be the one awarding the Kids' Choice Award. And so this was one of his favorite cars, again, because it's the Z28. And he loved this car. This was actually his first choice. He made that very clear to me that this car was going to be his first choice because he saw this at the hotel the night before. And then the next day he saw this car, which is Thor. And it really kind of cracks me up because if you're a Camaro person, you know that this guy here is Scott Settlemyer. He owns Thor. And the story behind Thor is an absolute incredible story. But TJ picked him. And I think it's pretty funny because Scott Settlemyer goes to, I've seen this guy and I figured it out today. I've seen Scott Settlemyer at 7 different car shows over the last maybe 14 months. I met him originally down in Bowling Green, and I got my photograph taken with him at Camaro Fest in Bowling Green. He also signed my car, and the picture of me and him was taken in front of his mom's car. And I've run into Scott at several different shows, and Scott brought this car to Superfest back in July. And when I did a live from up there, and I had Andrew Garcia from Camaro Cave with me. And when we were walking around, Andrew started telling me about all the cool stuff on this car that you don't really know about it unless you know about the car. And so the next couple of shows I went to, I saw Scott. He brought, he's got a silver Camaro. I don't know the name of it. I can't remember. He's got so many cars, but I was at a show up in Grand Rapids, Michigan, and I said, I ran into Morgan, and I said, hey, Morgan, like, do me a favor, go over there and tell Scott, or ask Scott to bring Thor to Fall Classic. And Morgan's like, you go over and tell him. And I said, okay. So I hunted down Scott Settlemyer, and I'm like, dude, will you do me a favor? He's like, I'll try. I said, I want to do an interview with you, and I want to do it, if we can, I'd like to do it with Thor. Would you bring Thor to the Fall Classic? And he's like, absolutely, I would be more than happy to bring that car. So that's exactly what he did. So guess what? Coming up, I have a video where I had a chance to interview Scott Settlemyer, and he's going to tell us about his car. And if you know who Scott Settlemyer is, his fan-given nickname is F-Bodfather, because in the 90s and the 2000s, he played a significant role in helping develop the 5th gen and 6th gen Camaros. So, like, this guy is a former GM employee. He's retired. One of the nicest persons I've ever met. He's very personable. He never turns you away or anything. He's like always got a smile on his face. Great guy. Anyway, I wanted to tell you that TJ picked his car. How cool is that? And then later on that night at the dinner, I was able to get a short video with Scott Settlemeyer. I'm working on production of that video. It should be out in a few days. I don't know exactly when. Depends on work. But I wanted to just share those photographs with you and tell you that if you haven't seen that video, it's also on. I put that on Monday. I put it up. So make sure you check it out. And then these photographs actually were taken by the professional photographer that they had there. And I asked him, I'm like, dude, would you take some like really good photos of my car and I'll pay you for them? And he's like, absolutely. And you don't have to pay me. I'm like, okay, cool. That's even better. So these are I try to do the best I can taking photos, but these photos are absolutely incredible. So I wanted to share those with you. That's my car. And, so this is a photograph at the dinner later on. I was able to park in the back because I had TJ with me, and TJ was the celebrity there for the day. I also wanted to quickly say thank you very much. Excuse me, I've got the hiccups. I wanted to say thank you very much to everybody in the club that was so hospitable with him and just like loved on him and showed him that the people in the Camaro club, the Camaro community, they're great people. People were giving him gifts. They were taking pictures with him. I'm sure that it made his day. Like, the kid was excited that on Friday, his mom said he got up at 3 a.m. because he was so excited to come and hang out with all of us Camaro people. So thank you to the NEOCC, Northeastern Ohio Camaro Club, for your hospitality and helping this kid feel like he's part of us, and he is an honorary member. So I just wanted to say thank you for that. So now I want to go ahead and move into what I really wanted to talk to you about. Now, this coming Saturday, it sounds as if I finally caught up with this young couple. I met these people like over a year ago. The husband has a Corvette. The wife has her own Corvette. And I've been trying to get a video with these people. I've never really done a video on two cars at the same time. But because they are husband and wife, I plan on doing that and trying it out just to see how it goes. But Jeremy and Shannon finally locked in a day, and that is this Saturday. I get to go do a video with them on their two amazing Corvettes. So I'm looking forward to that. Other than that, I don't really have a whole lot going on this coming weekend, I don't think. And then next weekend, let's see, I guess it's September the 19th and the 20th, is Bowtie Nationals, and that takes place down in Indianapolis, at the drag strip. So that ought to be a good time. I don't know if I'm going to go to that. Last year I had tickets for that show. I had bought a ticket and pre-ordered the ticket, and when it got here, it literally rained the whole weekend. And I said, I'm not driving and sitting in my car all day for 2 days while it rains. And that's exactly what I didn't do. I didn't go. I bought a ticket but didn't go. So I don't know if I'm going to be going or not. More than likely I won't go. But if you're interested in Bowtie Nationals, that is happening September 19th and 20th. And then, of course, the following Tuesday I'll have another live show. But what I wanted to do first is I wanted to talk about I think it's been almost a month ago now. It seems like it's been a month ago. I got some news from GM Authority that they were getting ready to release the prices for the 2026 on the configurator on the internet. And like I said a month ago, I said what'll more than likely happen is I'll talk about it and tell you I don't know when it's coming out, and then the next day it'll come out. Well, that actually didn't happen this time, which I was pretty relieved. But I did what did happen was this photo right here that I ordered from Camaro Fest, that came in the mail the next day. And I showed you that 2 weeks ago. I got up and showed you that the best I could. But so anyway, the prices on the price on the configurator for on the internet is now live. So that's pretty cool. I think I'm gonna go in and let's open up the Stingray real quick. I have to go back to my screen share so you can see that. But let's see, I'm gonna move my head away, but you can see right here. Let me point it out. You can see right here this toggle switch. This says 2026. You can toggle this, and it also will show 25s. You can switch over to 25. But we're not going to do that. We're going to switch it back to 26 because that's what I'm wanting to talk to you about. And then if you go down here and hit build and buy, it'll take you right straight to the Stingray. And, of course, I've already been looking at this, and I told you that I love the Roswell green. So, yeah, that's the Roswell green coupe. They have the prices listed right there. That's pretty cool, right? Because I don't know when they went live. It had to only be like within the last week because I'm constantly getting on here and checking it. And they finally have got the prices listed, so you can see if you order the 2LT package, it's $79,095. If you add the 3LT, it's another $5,000 or so, and it lists on there what it has in each package. And then you just keep going through here and changing it up. Like Riptide Blue is the color of Camaro that I built, 2024 2SS 1LE, and then passed on it when it came in. I love Riptide Blue, but then they came out with Roswell Green. So there's that. And then of course the interior, and I won't bore you with all that, but I did want to get on here briefly and tell you that they did finally come out. They did finally come out with the prices on the configurator, which is pretty cool. And then now I want to talk a little bit about the recall that they have on the Corvette, the C8 Corvette. I believe the recall is from 2023 to 2026, and it's on the Z06 and the ZR1, and it's because 2 or maybe 3 Corvettes caught on fire while they were getting gas. Really? 2 or 3? Not everybody leaves their car run, and not everybody overflows the fuel tank when they're pumping gas. A lot of people try to, from what I understand, if your car does not have a gas cap, when you're fueling your car and the pump shuts off, hang the pump back up, the nozzle, hang it up. You're done. Because of the way those cars are designed, if you keep trying to like squeeze, oh my gosh, it's $58.87. I got to get it to $59. Don't do that, because they don't have a gas cap on them. and they have a breather in there. Well, what happens is if you overflow it, it goes down the overflow spout with inside the where you put the fuel in, right? There's the hole for the pump, and then there's another ring around it with the hole in it. And what happens is people were overflowing it. The gas went down the overflow hole, and it got onto the ignition, and it created a fire because the car was running. Well, it only takes, you know what they say, it only takes 2 or 3 people to mess it up for the rest of us. Just that happens at work. Somebody falls off a truck, and then they make us all wear a strap around our stupid helmet, our hard hat. Because a guy fell off the truck, his helmet went flying, hard hat went flying. So now the rest of us in the whole company, all over the whole country, 30 different facilities all over the country, we all have to wear a strap on our hard hat because one guy fell off and didn't have a strap on it. So the same thing with the Corvette. 2 cars. I think that's all that they have proof of is 2, and there might be a third one. I don't know that for sure, but I know of 2. And so the rest of everybody else has to suffer. And here's what happened is they put the recall out, and then they put a stop order on all the dealerships. You cannot sell a 23 to a 26 Z06 and a ZR1. And guess what? These are some of the hottest Corvettes you can get right now. But guess what? You can't get them because they won't let you buy one. They won't sell you one, which is really crazy. Now, I've also heard some people talking about, does that affect, a used car lot, if a used car lot has one? I don't know if it does or not. There's speculations say that it also affects them, but I don't know. But if you have a 23 to 26 Z06 or ZR1, shut your car off. And when you're fueling it, don't walk away. Stand right there with it while you're fueling it. Shut the car off, number 1. Number 2, stay with the car. Number 3, when it's done pumping gas, take the nozzle out and hang it up in the pump. You're done. That's it. And I called today. I got on the phone, and I called my local Chevy dealer here in Fort Wayne, and I asked for the service manager, and I asked him, can you give me an update on the recall that they have going on right now with the Corvettes? And he said, I cannot give you any sort of update. He said, that is still pending. They don't have a fix for it. They don't have any parts to change or anything like that. Nobody knows when they will because they haven't given us a specific date. They're still figuring it out. Now, I think that's pretty sad for me. Like, I'm not going to probably buy a Z06 or a ZR1. That's the honest to God truth. For me to even buy a Stingray right now, it would be a stretch. Like I told you earlier in the show, I'm probably going to wait a few years, and I'll get one when I'm closer to retiring so I can enjoy it. But the fact of the matter is, how many thousands of cars are there out there that are either that platform and somebody owns it, or they're sitting on showroom floors or in the backyard at these dealerships, and they can't sell them because GM hasn't figured out a way to fix the problem. They diagnosed it, and then they haven't fixed it. And I don't know about you, but I don't think I would want to spend $100,000 on a Z06 and then be scared to drive it. But again, it goes back to the 1 or 2 or 3 cars that it actually happened to. And what are the factors? Not everybody is careless when they do stuff like that. And just because those 2 people did it, That doesn't mean you need to necessarily be scared of driving your car. But just be extra cautious when you put fuel in it until they figure out what they're going to do. So basically, that's all. That's really all I wanted to talk about. Again, I'm not a professional. I'm not a mechanic. I'm not an engineer. I'm not any of that. I'm a truck driver that loves cars and wants to try to give you information about cars. But please understand that just because this is called Shop Talk doesn't mean I'm a mechanic and I know everything about it, because I don't. But I do research before I get on here and start talking. I make phone calls. And like I said, I called the manager at a Chevy dealer that works in the service department. There's no fix and there's no time frame on when they're going to fix it. So if you have one of these cars on this platform, just be really careful when you fuel your car. And I say, if it normally takes 18 gallons, put 15 in it so it doesn't get to the top, and just continue to drive it and enjoy it and be glad you have it, because right now there's nobody else can get one. That's really not that funny, but I'm just being me. But I think it's ridiculous that people went out and spent that kind of money on a car and GM hasn't figured out a way to fix the problem. I think that's just crazy. So anyway, I know my show went really long tonight, and that's okay. I don't know if anybody even tuned in, because I forgot to put on there that I was going live. And whenever I set it up like that, it notifies you a half hour before. So anyway, if you watch this after the fact and you have a comment, if you have a car and you're concerned about the recall, if you have any kind of sort of comment you want to say or talk about it, make sure you hit the thumbs up and then leave a comment. And I'm gonna go ahead and sign off for right now. And I plan on seeing you back here on the 23rd of September. And I think what I might do is, again, earlier in the show, if you watched it from the beginning, you'll know that I said earlier in the show that I was thinking about, since they put me on day shift, thinking about maybe making my show an hour later at 8 o'clock instead of 7 o'clock, so that people on the West Coast could tune in. I haven't decided whether I'm going to do that or not for sure. So just, stay tuned to my posts on YouTube. And if I decide I'm going to do that, then I will make the announcement on a post on there so that you can stay tuned and find out for sure when I'm going to do that. So anyway, I just wanted to say thank you for hanging out with me today on Shop Talk. I hope some of the information that I provided is helpful to you, and thanks for your support. Again, my channel just continues to grow, and that's exciting for me. Sometimes I've heard that slow growth is better than fast growth when it comes to YouTube. So I'm pretty excited about it. Thanks again for hanging out with me on Shop Talk. I'll see you in 2 weeks. I'm out.